As we all know, RC stands for radio controlled, and I've always been confused by this because sometimes you'll be walking around and you'll see an RC primary school, but you never see those primary schools moving around. I guess they do that at the weekends when the kids aren't in. As a man who hoovers up retro racing games like no tomorrow, I often find myself playing absolutely anything for some arcade driving thrills, and you normally can't go wrong with a retro racing game. The limitations of the platform mean there's just not enough power to move into sim racer territory, and it often means that even the most run-of-the-mill retro racer will contain some decent arcadey fun. Unless of course you're RC Grand Prix for the Master System, developed by Absolute Entertainment. Now it gives me no pleasure to absolutely trash a video game because I'm always looking for positives. I approach all games as a new opportunity to have fun, and on paper RC Grand Prix is very much my kind of thing. This is very clearly trying to be the Master System's answer to RC Pro Am on the NES, and if it was even half as good as that game there would probably be a decent time to be had. Unfortunately, RC Grand Prix manages to do almost everything wrong. This forced perspective racer sees you racing against 3 other AI opponents around these tight and twisty tracks in an effort to place first. Simple enough, except the view on the tracks is far too close to the cars, making it impossible to anticipate when corners are approaching. The game tries to mitigate this by adding arrows and an audible chime to every corner on the circuit, so you have sufficient time to start turning before you approach the corner. It sort of works, and you do get used to it as you play the game, but it is so clear that these things have been added as a sort of quick fix, rather than having to redraw the entire game so that there's a wider view on the action. The tracks are also ridiculously narrow, with no way to run wide off the roads, which means you'll collide with walls and lose precious time constantly. Once again, the game has tried to plaster over this problem by always giving you a higher top speed than your opponents, which basically means there's very little skill involved in playing this game. Even when you enter the shop after races to buy better gear for your RC car, the opponents will basically level up with you, and you'll still be ever so slightly faster than them. The whole game reeks of laziness, and that's no more apparent than in its visual presentation. Every circuit in RC Grand Prix looks the same. It's dirt track surrounded by grass covered in red traffic cones. If you get close enough to the top of the screen you sometimes see a row of spectators, but that's the only visual variety you're offered. What a bland, uninteresting chore of a game. The main reason I bought this is because the Master System does have another forced perspective dirt racer called Buggy Run that very much covers the same territory as RC Grand Prix. But the price tag on that one is a little too steep for my liking, so I went for this instead. Does it make for a good budget equivalent to Buggy Run? Does it bollocks?